everyone, welcome back. I'm so happy you're here, and of course I hope you are ready for a new DIY. We are going to use the smaller tumbling tile blocks. Of course, I always say make sure that you have 4 until 5 packages laying around in your stash. You always have enough. And of course I have here my little bag with half blocks. I don't know if I'm going to use it, but I always have them laying around, so always make a couple of them, maybe 10-20 pieces. Just do them in half and you always have a nice bag with some half pieces. I have here my container with everything inside. Do whatever you think you need for your DIY, but the most important, I always say, is the wood glue. Of course you can use some hot glue, but be careful that it doesn't break. I have here my print from an Easter egg I just found on Google. So I show you in a moment the measurement you stay within. So then you have the same measurements I need for my DIY. Of course, an old piece of saucer with an old piece of kitchen towel, which is wet to wipe away the glue. And this is just an example piece for any color you like for your DIY. What we're going to make, I'm going to try to make an Easter egg handbag. So we will see if this will work or not. I really have no idea. We will see. We will see. I hope you join me. And you see already, this is the Easter egg. I'm going to look for if I am going to use it in totally. So before I'm going to give you the measurements, I'm going to cut it out. And then I'm going to look for which part I'm going to use. Maybe I'm going to do only another under part, or maybe I'm just going to do it in the other way. But first we're going to cut it out. So I have now my egg. Of course, this was the totally of my Easter egg. I showed you this way. This is better. The color is better than the black. Of course, this way. I did fold it in a little piece over like this. So now he can stand on his own, because we want to have our handbag which is standing on his own. So what we're going to do, measurement, the widest side is of course over here, and he is 20.5 centimeters, 20.5, and he is in inches. He is 8 inches in the widest side. So if you have your print on Google, always make sure that you have 8 inches or 20.5 centimeters wide. And the length, of course, will be from this one is 23 centimeters long, 23 centimeters long. And he is in inches. He is exactly 6, if I'm correctly. No, 9, of course, not 6, 9 inches. So in the length he is 9 inches long. So if you're having your measurement of your egg this way, maybe you can draw it yourself. It's totally fine. Then you have the right numbers of my blocks. So your egg is fitting also on top of here. So make sure that you have this measurements. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay down now the first side of the egg. So for the first side of the egg, we are going to start with 4 rows of 12 blocks. So 4 rows of 12. You lay them flat on your table and you're going to pick them up on the smallest side like this. And you are going to work your way in one line and make one row out of it, and at the end, of course, we are going to make one big plank out of it. I was thinking about what can you do with an Easter egg, so that's why I came up with my handbag of an Easter egg. Like I told you, I really have no idea how this will turn out. I hope it even looks later also as an Easter egg, but you never know how it will turn out. That's why a lot of people ask me always, how many blocks do I use? But I really have no idea. Sometimes I use 1 of 2 packages, sometimes 4. And you have a little bit, most of you have a little bit more in your package than I have. I only have 54 blocks in one package. And I think a lot of you have in the 70, if I'm correctly. So I have a lot less in my package always. And now we already have the last row of the first of my front. And the last, and of course now we're going to squeeze it, but be sure squeeze it from within, not already to the outside. Always at the end you do some pressure on the outside. You do here the same. Start from the inside and give it some pressure later on the outside, and it even is no guarantee that it doesn't jump out, because it will sometimes over here. And we're going to do this one, and you can use a carpenter square. A lot of you already know that I don't use it. I have one, but I never used it. So again, I'm going to squeeze it. I'm going to wipe away the glue over here and this way, and always go back. I'm going to move it this way, and in one piece we're going to place it straight up, clean up our mat and lay it down on the other side. Clean this one also up. Again, one move, very fast. You're going to place it down, and you're going to do the other side. This one also, and you place it up, clean up your mat, and again do also this side. And then you always keep your piece clean, and again this one. Now I'm going to go back always and make sure that I have a nice straight line, and then we're going to give it a couple of minutes rest. So now I'm going to place it on the side, 3 of them. I'm going to do some glue on the tops over here, and we do it over here. And of course, if you don't have the tumbling tower blocks and you just have laying around some wood in your stash, you can do this the same. So you don't have to use the tumbling tower blocks. And again, this one and this one. And now we're going to fill in gently the open gaps. I'm going to turn this, and because this way it's a little bit easier to fill in the open gaps. That's why we only wait a couple of minutes, so we easily can work our way around. We're going to wipe away the glue. What we're going to do right now, we're going to place 4 pieces over here like this, and another one of 4, and we do very gently, we do some glue on the top over here and over here, and this one. And I told you 4, but we need 3, and this one and this one. So this one can be on the side. You're going to squeeze them together and give them a couple of minutes rest. So we gave both of them a couple of minutes. We're going to turn this around. What we're going to do, we do this one on the side, do some glue on this side, and we're going to place it over here, and we place it in the middle this way. We do here the same, do some glue in the middle of on the smallest line, and we're going to place it down and place it on top of here. This way we are using a little bit less blocks than we normally would have. So that's why it's a little bit of a different shape, but at the end the egg will fitting inside of here. So this is number 1. Now we're going to make number 2. You see already on the table are the 4 rows of 12 for the first part of the plank. And of course I'm going to glue them together, but I do it a little faster because or else you get very bored. So I see already, now I have my 4 rows again. I'm going to place 3 of them on the side, just the same like we did with the first one. Of course, you make one line, make sure that all the blocks have a little bit of glue, and over here. And I need to go back, so we place this again over here, this one over here, and this one over here. And we're going to turn it because we want to be sure that we're going to fill in the open gaps, gently squeezing it together until one big piece. And always make sure that one side is always straight, because that will be the side where your egg is standing on. And we're going to wipe away the glue. We place this aside. We're going to get again 3 blocks and another one of 3. We do the tops, just a little bit of glue, and this one, and we roll them together, and we do here the same, and the last, and of course we're going to squeeze them and give them a couple of minutes. So I'm going to turn this one also again. I'm going to place this on the side, do some glue on the smallest line, and we're going to place it again in the middle, a little like this, squeeze it, and we do here the same, and we place this on top over here, that we are sure that everything is fitting nicely. And I'm going to wipe away the glue, and always look before you are letting it dry totally. Always go back and look if your Easter egg is fitting on top, and he does. He is narrow with me over here, but I'm really going to use it because I don't want to use another row of blocks. So it is fitting nicely. So now we're going to let both of the pieces dry in for at least 1.5 hours until 2. And now we're going to make the middle part of our handbag. So now I'm going to make the bottom of my handbag, and I'm going to do my handbag not too wide. You can do them, of course, 3 double layers. I'm going to go for 2. At least I'm going to look for how it's looking like. So we have 2 rows of 3. So we do them together this way and over here and this way. And we're going to squeeze them together, because it's only a decorative piece, so you can only do some little, maybe some greenery inside or a couple of things. So I don't want mine too big, and it's easier placing it when it's not too big, but maybe I'm going to use 3. I'm going to look for, so I'm going to let this dry in for a couple of minutes. So I was looking, and I did it place together. So we do these 2 pieces we're going to do already together. And I was looking, I think he is a little bit too small, so I'm going to make 1 extra. So I'm going to do 1 of 3 extra. So you need 3 pieces of 3. Again, like this, place it on the side, do some glue, and then we place it together nicely, and make sure that you have everything in a straight line. Wipe away the glue. And of course, go back and make sure that everything is fitting the way you want to. So this way. And I'm going to let this dry. Now we're going to do the sides. So for the sides, we need, of course, this for one side, this for one side, and then we're going to build it further. But you see that in a moment. You use 4 times 3, but we lay them flat on the table, and we glue the smallest line. So like this. We do here the same, and here, and we're going to glue them together. Here the same, and this way, and the last. And we're going to squeeze all of them, and we're going to wipe away the glue and give them a couple of minutes dry. So now we're going to do some glue on this one on the top side, and this one on the top side. Over here, we place them together, and we place them together, and we're going to fill in the open gaps. Feel with your fingers. Here the same. Make sure that everything is fitting nicely. And we're going to give them also a little bit of a rest, and we're going to go further with the side. And you see already now on the table it are 6 rows of 3. So 6 rows of 3. And you are already thinking, why doesn't she do this in one time? I don't do it because, I'm sorry, I was still counting. I'm not going to do it because this too will be on one side, but we're going to build it in to give it a little bit more a feeling of an Easter egg also on the side. So that's why I do it apart of each other. But you see that in a moment. So now we already have almost our 6 pieces of 3. And this one. And this one, and we're going to let it squeeze them and let them dry in for at least, I think, 10 minutes. So you see we have our 6 pieces and we have our 2 pieces. We are going to take one of them and we place them on the side. We do some glue halfway, this one, so only the half. We're going to place this one on top halfway and give it some pressure. We do here the same. We do it halfway and give it some pressure with one of them, and again squeeze it this way and this way, and we're going to let it dry in for a couple of minutes. And of course, lay them also on the side, lay them next to each other this way, and look if the lines are similar, because it are the sides and you don't want that one side is different than the other side. So we are going to do some and half a block again, and we only do the half. We do some glue and we place this halfway, this one also, and you can measure it out with this one, and again give it some pressure. You do here the same again over here, and we place this one on this side also halfway, and you give it again a couple of minutes drying. So now we do the last piece, and of course again only on this side you do a little bit of glue, and you place this one again halfway of the last one, and we do here the same, only some glue, and place this one on this side also halfway the last one you glued. And now we're going to let it dry in for at least 15 minutes. So if everything is correctly, you have them both even. And of course, my blocks are not totally even. That's a little bit of my problem. So we have two of the same, but of course we're going to turn one of them around. You see already I have a little opening in mine. You see, because I don't know why it is, but it is what it is. I have to work with it. The blocks are not the same size. I have one shape this way, and I have one this one, because it has to go inside. We have our little plank we made. This is the 3 of 3. We are going to do some glue on both of the sides, on this side and on this side. On the top we place it over here, and we place this one against here and this one against here. So we make a kind of a little silhouette for our handbag. And maybe what I could do better is maybe place it straight up, but I'm going to let it settle in a little bit this way, and then I'm going to place it straight up, and this way I'm going to give it some pressure over here and over here. Feel with your fingers that you have a straight line on the underside, because that's what you want. And if I measured out correctly, your egg is fitting nicely on top of here, and your frame is falling inside of your Easter egg. So this way, and we're going to let this dry in for at least a half hour. So I place my frame on the side to dry. I'm going to get one of my planks we made, and of course this one has a little opening over here, but it doesn't matter. You can use also this side. I'm going to get my Easter egg, and I'm going to place it on top. Make sure that I have the shape I like, and I'm going to get my marker, and I mark my way over here, and mine goes this way, and I do it lightly, and later I'm going to make the marks a little bit darker, because of course I'm old and I need to make sure that I see the lines right when I use my jigsaw. But of course I use an Easter egg, but you also can use, I use some wood for my Easter egg, but you also can use some thicker piece of cardboard. If you have them laying around, that's also fine too. I use the wood, but you don't have to use wood. And I'm going to go over here and make this line over here. So you see already, now I make it a little bit darker over here so I can see it a little better. But I think I'm not the only one who sometimes, and I already have glasses, at least glasses. I have contact lens, I don't know if you call it in English the same, contact lenses. So I have little plastic lenses, and I place them in my eyes. So I have a built-in glasses already for years and years. So now I'm going to go this way and this one. And you see, this is already the Easter egg I'm going to cut out. I'm going to do also the other one, and then I'm going to cut out the pieces. It's only a little piece we need to cut out. So you see already, these are the 2 Easter eggs I made. And of course, this is the middle piece. What we're going to do right now, I'm going to do this one in the brown color, and the 2 Easter eggs, I'm going to do the first 2 rows in the dark brown color. And the rest will be white. So I use a simple brand paint always, and I'm going to, like I told you, I'm going to do the first rows I'm going to do with the brown color. So very easy, take your time for it. I won't bore you with that. I will do my painting. You see in a moment how it's turned out. So now we have the half of the Easter egg. I'm going to do some white on top of my paper kitchen towel to give, of course, the other side of the Easter egg in the white color. And of course, it's always when you are having your camera running, the paint is not coming. So again, I'm going to get my brush and I'm going to do the rest of my Easter egg, of course. Carefully, I do it over here, but we're going to do a piece of a ribbon along the line. So doesn't matter if you go a little bit over it, but be as careful as you can be, and then do the rest in the white color. So now I placed 1 Easter egg on top of here, and of course I looked for which one was fitting the best. So I have this one on the inside and the other one will be on the outside. Of course, I have here my frame. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do some glue over here and make some lines around over here around the frame, and a little over here to be sure that everything glues nicely. Of course, I'm going to turn it over and we're going to place it on top of here. And I'm going to look for that I have it where I need to have it over here. And I think I'm at the place. Of course, he has to be straight on the underside. This way. And now I'm going to give it some pressure. Look for that you have on each side the same space. And of course, you see already, I didn't do paint this in totally because I knew this one would be on the inside. So again, we're going to give it a couple of minutes to settle in. So in the meantime, while this is settling in, I'm going to get my piece of ribbon, and I use a little piece of the velvet ribbon because I like the velvet. I'm going to do some glue and I'm going to place this one on the inside over here halfway. Of course, some pieces are not totally dry yet, so I have to be careful. So I'm going to do some glue on this one and I place this halfway over here, and I'm going to wait until it is dried up. This way. And I'm going to leave it in a moment until I'm ready to place it straight up. I did my camera on, but I didn't. So you see already I placed my under egg on the table. I glued my piece of the inside, and I just laid my other piece of my egg on top of here to let it dry also. Make sure that everything is fitting nicely on the underside. before we're going to glue our ribbon. So I turned my Easter egg on, and of course I'm going to get my ribbon. I'm going to do a little bit of glue, and I'm gluing it also on the inside. Later in a moment I show you exactly how the ribbon is looking like, so don't worry. I'm just going to glue this over here and let it dry in for a little moment. And then we're going to go around again, the same like we did with the other one. So very easy, just this way. So I place it down on my table again, and I'm going to make a nice line with my hot glue, and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to glue it is this way, and I'm going to let it dry in. Of course I'm going to go a little bit further, and I place my line over here, and then I'm going to work away the sides the same like I did with the other one. Of course I'm going to place it straight up, and I'm going to work my way to the inside the same like I did with you, but you can do it any way you like. So now I have my ribbon around my piece. You see already this way, over here, inside, and the inside gives a nice look if you have the like a kind of staircase way. So what I'm going to do, I have here my paint, and of course I have here my brown, and I have my red, and I'm going to make everywhere on the white piece, I'm going to make some dots. So I'm going to start with the brown, and I'm just going to make little dots on top of my piece, and you can make them as big as you like, and you can go as crazy as you like. You can also do some glamour stones on top of here if you're more like glam. So you also do, you can change the ribbon up with something else. So I'm going to do this side and the other side, not on the inside. I only do it on the outside. So I made my dots on top of my Easter egg, and of course later we're going to do a little bow on the piece of the ribbon in the middle. But first we're going to make the handles, and I'm going to use this kind of rope. It's a little bit of a thicker, and it is a little bit of the creamy color. So what I'm going to do, I always make one little knot over here like this, and I pull it, and I always have a little space left over for to make a little kind of a, yeah, how you call it, a little bristle, at least an ending, a tassel. And I'm going to place this, and of course I'm going to do it over here, and I make sure that I have enough to make also the knot. So I have mine now, if I'm correctly, he will be 30, I think, and 40 centimeters, and in inches it will be 14 inches. So I have 40 centimeters, 14 inches. So I'm going to go and I'm going to cut off my piece, and of course I have to make sure that I have enough for my knot. I don't want to have too less, and I'm going to make sure I make my knot, and then I'm going to lay them next to each other. I'm not pulling it off yet, so I'm going to look for if I have it on the line I want to have it, and every time I give it a little bit more of the push, and then I'm sure that both of them are the same length like this, and then I pull it off. Make sure I open up the lines of my rope like this, and then I'm going to cut it off as short as I want to have them, and this way. And now I have two pieces of the same length. But of course you can use some ribbon, you can use some leather, you can use some yeah, maybe some other twine, or maybe you can do anything you like. I like a little bit of the thicker rope, so I use these two of them, and I'm going to glue them on the side of my handbag. So I have still a piece of my ribbon, of my velvet, so I'm going to make a very simple bow like this, and I'm going to pull out the loop. So if you have a better way of making bows, go ahead, do whatever you think is right. I'm just going to do it this way. I'm going to pull this one also in, and make sure that we have a nice piece of ribbon sticking out. And we are going to make sure that we have, of course, on the underside a fishtail. It's very easy, you just fold it together this way and you just cut it always this way on the you have to have your scissors the way where your bow is. That's a better explanation. So you see, you have a nice little fishtail. Of course, I'm going to do this one also, and I'm going to this way. I'm going to cut it on top. And now I already have my first little bow for on top of my bag. So of course you always have to work a little bit with it. And like this. And now I'm going to make the second one. So you see, I placed the handles on the first row of the white. So you have the white and the first row. I did the knots of my handles over here and I placed them with the tassels down and on both sides, and if everything is correctly then he hangs over here. The only thing I need to do is I'm going to glue my ribbon exactly my little bow in the middle, but of course you see in a moment the quick impression. And you see finally a quick impression of my tumbling towel block Easter egg handbag, and I'm so happy how this one turned out. Of course you can decorate it any way you like. Everyone who is new here, I hope you enjoy what you saw, and if you do, I hope you will click the red subscribe button, give me a thumbs up and hit the bell so you will be notified every time I upload new DIYs, and it doesn't cost you anything. So everyone, have an amazing day. See you in the next one. Bye.